So now we have section B, systems technologies. So we have to go through the specification and also what we are given, right? So an ICT system must be implemented for a national television station running a talent show, right? Each of the judges will be provided with a laptop that has the following specifications. So this is a laptop, not even a tablet, right? So this will definitely be what I don't know if this will write, but we have the 11 inch or 11.6 inch here, HD. We have the processor, we have the graphic processor, 4 gig LP DDR RAM, SSD hard drive, which is very good, by the way, better than the hard disk. Okay, so the gigabyte Wi-Fi, and then Bluetooth, Chrome for browsing, Office 365. This is very expensive, 1 point something here in South Africa. So you cannot buy a computer and they force you to buy an Office. It should actually come with the Microsoft Office, you know. So this is very vital everywhere actually. So let's go straight to the question just to understand what they are trying to ask us, right? So 2.1 says each laptop has two processors, an Intel N4020 processor, which is the central processing unit, CPU, and a MediaTek graphic processor, GPU, right? So the question will say, state the purpose of a central processing unit, which is the CPU, 1 mark. So for 1 mark, you can maybe say that the CPU is actually the brain of a computer. Then that will be a mark. Unless if they were giving us 3 marks, so then you can further define it by saying that it processes data, it performs calculations of or maybe and other instructions in a way like logical instructions. And also this is actually a hardware component that executes instructions and carries out calculations by performing basic arithmetic logic, or maybe the input output operations that are actually specified by those instructions. So inside the computer you have maybe a RAM, you have the CPU that actually support each other in terms of processing this data. You remember when they say that you have an i5, maybe you have your 16 giga RAM and so forth. So they hire the CPU and also the RAM in terms of performing. So then the better the processing of this data. And also the gaming computers are actually one of the best, because you'll find out that they usually they are usually made of 32 giga RAM, and then with maybe a minimum of i5 that will perform better, and then i7 and so forth. And now we have i9 and so forth. So I will be creating the information technology theory where I can explain them. But now we just considering the paper. So now we have another question that says most modern processors are multi-core, right? Processors using multi-core technology. So explain what the term multi-core refers to in terms of CPU design, right? So multi means many. So what about the cores, right? So this will be a single processor that has more than one processing unit or more than one cores on a single processor chip, right? So let's say that we have a chip just that I don't have pictures, but the CPU, and a chip in terms of the system design and so forth. So this can be, or the chip that we are actually talking about can definitely be, you know, in a way where you can be able to execute instructions independently of others in a way. And this allows you to run like parallel processes using the single CPU, using just single CPU in a way. And with multi-core CPU, it means that you can be able to handle multiple tasks concurrently or simultaneously. And with that, it means that the system will definitely run faster as you are actually using the simultaneous processing. And also, I can actually say that uh, if you are in programming, you should know about maybe multi-threading. And multi-threading allows us to, for example, trigger the objects, in a program simultaneously by using threads, right? So if the threads or if the methods are not synchronized, it means that you should be able to trigger that, like you should be able to run different processes at the same time, and which is called multi processing. Okay, so I hope I did explain this accordingly, but you can comment below so that we can improve how we place our answers. So, name one processing technique that will allow the full benefit of multi-core technology to be utilized. So, for one, it means that we're expecting one. I think I've already mentioned the multi-threading. So that will definitely be multi-threading. I've already spoken of multi-processing, so you can go for that as well. Maybe parallel processing technique. So one of those will definitely suffice. But as a lecturer, I would prefer multi-threading because you are in programming, so you should be able to know multi-threading and be able to apply it when you are coding, right? Number C, explain why multi-core technology is able to improve the performance of a processor. So we are still talking about multi-core, right? So as we are talking about multi-core technology, we are still talking about processing these tasks simultaneously, right? So it means that if you were to have maybe this guy here to perform a specific instruction, let's say here we're gonna take maybe a minute, and we have maybe this as an instruction, this as an instruction, this as an instruction, and this guy as our instruction. It means that if they queue up in order for them to get into this guy here, it will take 1 minute per each, right? Per each task. One, two, three, four. So this will take 4 minutes, right? However, if we had maybe four core, this means that um, we are going to take a minute, right, to process them, because this will go into this one, this into this one, this into this one, and this into that one. So as we know that they will be processed simultaneously, this will definitely take a minute to process all of them instead of using a single processor or a single chip. So more than one processing core allows multiple tasks or threads to be processed at the same time. And this will definitely improve the speed at which these tasks are being processed, right? And due to the use of the multiple cores, this will mean that every single task will be speed up in terms of being processed and also being completed. I hope that I've explained it accordingly. So now we are moving to 2.1.3. So they're saying motivate why including a graphics processor would have a positive impact on the performance of the laptop, right? This is actually a good question. So remember that the GPU, which is the graphics processor, is actually very good when it comes to anything that requires graphics, right? Like big applications, like modeling of maybe complex 3D scenes, if you've done machine learning, you can talk about training neural networks in machine learning, visually, and these can also help when it comes to one of the best video games like Spider-Man, or we can talk about Xbox, we can talk about PS5, how those games are actually being played, or what you see visually there is actually being facilitated by the GPU. So the better the GPU, then the better the graphics that you're gonna see, or what you're gonna see on the screen in terms of the performance, the 4K, the quality of the video that you are perceiving on the screen is actually determined by this, and also the processing or the calculation of these instructions while it's happening. It will definitely be held by the GPU, right? So this handles the processing of images. That's actually the best explanation that you can actually give. That graphics processor has its own resources, its own processor, its own RAM, which handles the processing of graphical images that you see when you are playing your best games. If you don't have a good graphic, you might not be able to play the game that you want. I can actually show you an example with the following here. uh, the better the what the graphic, then the better the quality of image that you see. So check this one here, 77,000 just graphic. I don't afford this. I can buy a better computer. But the thing is that we are talking about 24 gig worth of graphic. A 2 gig graphic will be good for gaming, but I mean, this one is actually one of the best out there. So I just did this so that I can be able to show you how much you can actually spend on the GPU for your computer to perform well when you're gaming online and other things. So yeah, I really prefer a good graphics processor as well, and also the computer that I'm using here has like one of the best as well. That's why I'm able to run big applications such as maybe Android Studio, IntelliJ, anything that has to do with programming and also emulators. I'm able to run them. So the 11.6 inch HD touch specification refers to the screen of the laptop. Explain how the size of screen is measured. Definitely from this corner to this other corner. So if you are using your laptop, that might actually be 14 or 15 point something. Currently using 20 20 29 inch. because I was looking for something big. There is 24, there is 27 inch, so that would definitely be the diagonally from one corner to the opposite side kind of check that you require in order for you to measure it. Some devices have both VGA and HDMI connector for connecting external display devices. So now they are saying that in which one of these connectors is the preferred connector in modem. Okay, so this one will definitely be HDMI because I mean VGA is for our grandpas, So HDMI comes with sound, and it allows for sort of fast data transfer, better image quality, and also some of them carries control signals. So HDMI is actually one of the best these days, and we cannot prefer VGA. More especially about sound, I feel like I'm into HDMIs because of sound, and also some of them will offer you the 4K quality in terms of the data transfer. So yeah, HDMI one way all the time, every day, and forever. That will definitely be HDMI. So you can motivate the way you want to motivate. However, the one that we usually prefer will be HDMI because of sound. So each judge's laptop is equipped with 16 gig of SSD, which is very small. Motivate the use of flash technology in SSD devices by stating two positive properties of flash disk technology. So remember, we are no longer, facilitating the use of hard disk, kind of, or hard drive, I can say. SSDs are actually one of the best because they are very quick in terms of writing and also reading the information from the storage itself, right? And there's no noise when you are running SSD on your computer, compared to the hard drive, like the hard disk, that you might actually hear some disc like metal disc spinning. And also this one comes with a very low heat when it comes to processing of data, and there is no moving parts inside, just made of the flash technology, or we can say chips, just like a RAM, so they are very thin, very portable, very robust, and also low power usage. So they are very small in terms of physical dimensions as well. So I can say that they are higher in terms of accessing speed, or when you're accessing some file, sending out some file, and so forth. So this is actually the best. So if you pick one of what I've given you, you should be able to do what, to get the 2 marks. Okay. So now they say the laptops are networked wirelessly during the talent show, right? Explain why Wi-Fi will be better suited to connect to a wireless network than the Bluetooth, right? So most of the time we can talk about the sort of wireless connection, right? When we are using printers. So I have a wireless printer, very quick in terms of usage and also connection. So Wi-Fi will be better compared to Bluetooth in terms of the bandwidth. I think I've explained this in part one. Bandwidth, I take it as a pipe. The bigger the pipe, then that type of a pipe will definitely take out a lot of water, and then the smaller pipe will take less. However, I was actually explaining the bandwidth or maybe the speed of of a network. So another thing will definitely be the signal in terms of the range coverage. So Bluetooth might actually cover a small area or geographical area, and then with um, with Wi-Fi it might actually cover more. And another thing will definitely be that Wi-Fi has a better security, but Bluetooth, when you connect to someone like a speaker, we can say, if you buy a speaker and I decide to connect it first, I might actually play any music that I wanna play. However, with Wi-Fi, you might need some authentication in order for you to connect. And also, sometimes I know that Bluetooth might actually give you a number sometimes. However, on a speaker, you might not be able to get something like that. I'm just giving you an example, right? So, Bluetooth might actually connect to maybe one singular device, and that device will be able to communicate with that particular Bluetooth. However, with Wi-Fi, this has a sort of a better um, connection in terms of the number of devices that are connected to it. So better in terms of the devices that you can connect to that particular Wi-Fi. And speaking about Wi-Fi, do not use any public Wi-Fi because we can hack you, we can get into your device, we can do anything that we want to do in your device via the use of those public Wi-Fi's, right? So do not connect to them. We can be able to manipulate your devices for that. So moving to 2.5, Windows 11 has been installed as an operating system on each laptop. What I can say about this is that Windows 11 is actually one of the best. There is Windows 10, there is Windows 8, there is Windows 7. So yeah, we are, from this guy here. This was actually our best guy up until they bring 8 and we were not happy with it. However, a 10 and 11 they are better according to my comparison. So define the term OS or maybe operating system. So an operating system is just a system software which controls or maybe manages all the activities that takes place in a computer. Let's talk about them. So an OS can be Windows, Linux. So Linux will be an open source operating system that you can be able to uh, recode it or maybe add new features in it because it's an open source, and use that for your own benefit. And also we have Android. So Android will be one of them, and another one you can guess. It's up to you, but I prefer to call this BlackBerry. I don't remember installing any, Android type of an OS in BlackBerry. BlackBerry was just an operating system according to my comparison, and I'm very certain that you can actually support that as well. So yeah, I prefer Linux because Linux is very quick. In order for you to install maybe VLC or maybe any IDE, you just hit the command, and then you'll be able to install. It's very quick, very nice in a way. That's actually my preference. However, now I'm currently using Windows, just you know because I'm working as a programmer. So we are currently using Windows for security reasons. So when you get to university or maybe workplace or internship, you'll be able to know that Linux is very good. However, in terms of security, you cannot be assured. It seems like I've already explained this question here. Which one of these type of software um, uh, proprietary, English, open source, would you recommend motivate your recommendation by discussing the merits of using the specific software? So open source, remember I said that it's free, you can customize it, it's actually available for further development for your own benefit. And the other one, which is a closed source, hey, I'm not going to edit anything here. So the other ones are actually very good in terms of security and other things.